The war had dragged so long that even memory felt tired. On the 10th spring, Troy woke to a new sound, the absence of Greek shouting, the hush of an abandoned camp. From the walls, sentries watched gulls float over cold hearths and toppled cookpots. Only one thing remained upright on the plain, a horse of towering timber, wheels sunk a little in the sand, shoulders broad enough to cast a shadow on the gate. Messengers brought the news into the squares. The Greeks had burned their tents and sailed at dusk. Perhaps the gods had shifted. Perhaps the siege had finally starved itself. People poured out of the city to stare. They found a single Greek left behind, hands raised in surrender. His name was Sinon, and his story slid neatly into their hunger for closure. The horse, he said, was sacred to Athena, built big on purpose so Troy could not drag it inside. If the Trojans humbled it, disaster would return to the Greeks. If they left it outside or harmed it, Athena's anger would fall on Troy. He spoke with the pale trembling of a man who had barely survived his own army. Not everyone believed him. Laocoön, a priest whose eyes had grown sharp from saying unwelcome things, strode down the slope with his sons. He took a long spear and sent it humming into the horse's flank. The wood answered with a hollow thrum, like a drumhead struck. "Do not trust gifts from enemies," he said, voice carrying along the stones. "What's built to be admired can still be built to kill." A murmur moved through the crowd, doubt, then irritation at the doubt. The city wanted rest. While they argued, the sea heaved up two coils of muscle as thick as columns. Serpents broke the surface, slid across the beach, and seized Laocoön and his boys. The scene was so sudden and so brutal that many called it omen rather than accident. The gods themselves silencing the man who would spoil a celebration. Hope loves an open gate. Ropes were thrown, wheels freed, and the horse's great head passed under the arch to cheering and song. Garlands looped its legs, wine splashed its hooves. That night, lamps burned late in the houses, armor was set aside, the word after was spoken like a blessing. After midnight, the last embers settled. On the wall of the horse, a hidden panel shifted with a soft scrape. A rope fell. A shadow slid down, then another. Odysseus and his companions, cramped for hours in the hollow belly, dropped to the paving stones and padded toward the gates. Sinon, who had slipped away at sunset, lifted the great bars when they arrived. Far out on the dark water, a line of ships that had never sailed far returned toward the harbor, oars muffled, sails black against black. The rest you know, torches in narrow lanes, helmets blooming like dark flowers at every corner, the sudden boil of shouting where there had been silence. Doors burst, altars flashed. A city taken not by battering the walls, but by opening them from within. People later argued about the omen, the priest, the lies, the blame. The lesson is plainer when you are not exhausted and wanting a story to end. The moment you crave relief is the moment you must ask better questions. Who benefits if we believe this? What would I see if I tapped the hull instead of admiring the paint? Is there a test, and will we run it before we roll the gift inside? In every age, the horse returns wearing the fashion of the day. A shortcut, a perfect offer, a too neat explanation. Build the habit Laocoön tried to hand them. Tap the wood, seek the hollow, insist on proof. Celebrate only after the gates are still yours at dawn.